Good day, good day. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jay, and this is Homeschool Your Kids podcast. Today we have with us Miss Tanya. Tanya, introduce yourself.
Sure. I'm Tonya Jones. I'm with Alabama Opportunity Scholarship Fund in Birmingham, Alabama, but we are a statewide SGO, which stands for Scholarship Granting Organization.
Okay, can you get lead us on the journey how you got here? How did we get
Yes,
to Birmingham?
yes. So,
Mhm.
so I'm going to tell you a personal story. My husband and I got
Okay.
married, and we were with his parents during that time because his mom was having some back issues, and my husband was getting really comfortable being with his parents. He was not stepping up, and so he came home from work, and I had packed the car, and he's like, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to Birmingham." He's like, Why are you going to Birmingham?" I said, "I'm going to Birmingham because I'm going to find a job there, and then you're going to move there, and that's where we're going to live," because his parents were in Mobile and we needed to be a far enough distance so that we could manage on as adults on our own. And so that was almost 40 years ago that we moved to Birmingham. And I met this friend of mine doing through another friend that was doing vouchers and it was a new system and she needed some help. I
Homeschool families. Homeschool Yo Kids Expo and Homeschool Beats Academy are teaming up to bring you a day of real support and real inspiration. Come explore curriculum and enrichment, meet trusted vendors, and connect with the homeschool community. And at our featured Expo stop, meet Homeschool Beats Academy and see how students ages 7 to 18 can create original music through beat making and production with parent-friendly guidance. Get dates and details at homeschoolyokidsexpo.com.
left corporate accounting, which was where I belonged. I was working in corporate accounting. I left that to do nonprofit and absolutely loved it. The voucher program was through Children's Scholarship Fund, did not last very long in Alabama because it was not the right environment at the time. And later in 2013, that same friend contacted me and she said, "You want to do scholarships again?" And I was like, "Of course," and I said, "But I don't think it's going to happen. We've already done that." It didn't happen. It didn't last and wasn't the support wasn't there. And I did not know at the time that the Alabama Accountability Act of 2013 had just been passed. And with that opened up at the time $30 million for scholarships in the state for students to attend private or public schools that were not considered failing or priority schools. And so I went into that doing the finance side and got really excited about what we were doing. I didn't know that I was always a choice person, but I've always worked with private schools and all different environments, helping people wherever I could with their finance area. But after many years in that, I left for a spell and went to Step Up for Students, which was our parent company, and worked there a couple of years and had to quit because of some personal issues with my parents. And then Alabama passed the Choose Act in 2024. And so the executive director of AOSF, the Alabama Opportunity Scholarship Fund, said, "Hey, Tanya, are you interested in coming back in a different capacity, not doing finance so stressful and all?" And so I was like, "Yeah, I can do that." And so that's where I am. And that happened.
Nice.
Yeah. So I absolutely love talking to parents and walking them through processes and helping them understand what's available in Alabama.
Yeah, so let's talk about what's available because I always, I talk to the educators. You on the finance side, so you a little different. Okay, you know how to find the money. And the people need the money.
They
So
need the money.
they need the money. Yes. So how does this program work? What does this mean for Alabama residents?
Yeah. So in 2013, with the Alabama Accountability Act, um, parents were able to apply if they met a certain income guideline, and priority was given to students, I'm sorry, that were zoned to attend a failing or priority school at the time. as the law passed on through the years, it's not so much the failing model that's ran because of the timing that all students are able to apply, that we still have to meet certain guidelines with the percentages from private school. They restrict how many can come directly from private school into the private school and get a scholarship. But they're looking for those students that need the help that are not already in a private school. So that program does that. It works with private and public schools, no homeschool. So in 2024, with the Choose Act, it opened up the door for homeschool parents now qualify for up to $2,000 per student, $4,000 maximum for the household. And it also offers $7,000 per student for those students that are will be in public or private school. There's a restriction on the public school thing. You have to transfer out of your school zone you attend or that your zone to attend into another zone, and that zone has to be willing to accept students. So there's some stipulations. It's hard to get public to public transfers in Alabama that
Okay.
are out of zone. But it did offer the opportunity for students that are in public schools that are not working for them. I am a public school student. I graduated from public high school. My kids did too. But it worked for them. It does not work for everybody. And so for those that are having issues, this opens the door for them to make some moves. I talked to too many parents that say that their kids were in an environment that did not work and they did not have any help because they could not afford to move the child. And so this is an opportunity to help, and it has been helping thousands of kids in its first year.
Homeschool families, are you ready to refresh your plans for the year? Join us at the Homeschool Yo Kids Expo. Meet curriculum and enrichment vendors, discover new programs, and connect with a community that gets it, all in one place. Come with questions, leave with real options. Get event details and register now at homeschoolyokidsexpo.com. That's homeschoolyokidsexpo.com.
We'll talk about
Okay.
that. I'm excited.
Yes, no, that is exciting. Okay, so in 2024, it opened up to homeschool families. So they're able to, but they're not, what are they able to use the funds for?
Whatever they need to use the funds
Okay.
for. There's a
Okay.
list of expenses that can be used on the Choose Act website, but it's not restricted. The students that are getting the 7,000 have to choose a school. Homeschoolers don't have to choose a homeschool co-op
Mhm.
or anything. They
Okay.
just it's just a bucket that has $2,000 in it for them to pull for their approved expenses.
Nice. That is awesome. So, okay. Okay. Big moves, big moves.
Yes.
Um, so how are the schools in Alabama? Because I will tell you, I've talked to some people.
Uh-huh.
I've talked to some people, and with you being a product, and you said your children are products of the Alabama public school system, how do you deem them to be? Are their schools worth changing to? Like,
Yeah.
choosing over the ones that are
Yeah.
failing or considered failing schools?
Yeah. So I was in rural Alabama in a school that was majority white growing up. And it was a good school. It still is a
Mm,
good school. The teachers are from the community, they care. And it gave me the foundation to be successful in college. My students attended a local school here, and it too is rural. Was rural, it is rural,
okay.
but they're adults now, so they're out of school. But over the years, the dynamics of those particular schools has changed. It's
Okay.
not considered as good, and the population of students that are coming in are not bad students. I just don't think that they don't have the restrictions that they sometimes need in order to make them focus and do the work. I
Mhm.
was there focus, making my kids do it,
Mhm.
and so they're on and off the failing school list now.
Mhm.
And so the dynamics are changing, and I don't understand completely why, but that's happening. But there are some really good schools that are in our districts that are doing great work, that are from that mindset of when I was in school, how we're going to call the parent, we're going to make sure you understand this child is not doing what they're supposed to be doing. I have a story, personal story about my nephew. My husband's like, he's your great nephew because he's your niece's child. And so he was in a public school here in Birmingham, and we could not figure out what was going on with him, but he could not read. He was in the fourth grade and he could not read. And he was uncomfortable with it because everybody else was reading out loud. And when he was asked to read out loud, he got really nervous because he knew he couldn't pronounce all of the words. Um, Fast forward 6 or 7 months after him being tested, saying that there was no problem with him. He didn't have dyslexia or anything like that. And his mom moves him to a different school that's not far from the school that he's in. The teacher's like, okay, he didn't learn phonics. He doesn't know how to pronounce the words, and he doesn't know what sound they make and the
Oh
letters make.
man.
And that's what his problem is. And in that next half of the school year, she got him up to grade level where he was, yes. And so I'm saying that for it worked for my niece to just move him to another public
Another
school.
school.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it was fine. So there are some great schools. I know some educators that are 120% in. They're giving it everything that they have, and they're communicating with parents, and they're making a team, a community out of it. But then there's some that are not. And so
Yeah.
when you have that situation where you're in an environment where it's not working, then what do you do?
Indeed. You choose different. You choose different, but
Exactly.
parents have to be aware of those choices. So
They
how
have
aware are Alabama parents that they
They're
have that
not.
choice?
They're not.
Mm.
And so because we are a scholarship granting organization, we do not implement the Choose Act. That's implemented by the Alabama Department of Revenue, and they're working with Class Wallet and Fax to do the application. But when parents contact us because they're looking for a change and they're looking for a scholarship, then they are asking us about Choose Act. So in the process, I had to become familiar with the Choose Act in order to help our parents. And so
Yeah.
that's what I've been doing for the last year is going across the state, talking with parents about the differences in the programs. So as we've
Yes.
done this, we've realized, okay, there's a problem here. Alabama is continually changing. Every year there's another change. Even with the Choose Act, next year it becomes universal. So every child in the state could possibly qualify for it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, just trying to figure out how do we communicate this because it's not being done at the administrative level of the program. So, how do we communicate these choices to parents? So, we're creating a choice navigators. And that's how I'm so glad to be a part of you because I know how to get the money. Like you said, I know what the
Mm-hmm.
scholarships are, how to apply, how to do all the steps to get what you need to get. But somebody else may say, hey, I don't think I want to go that route, but I may want to do the Choose Act, but I want to do homeschool. I can't help them with homeschool. So
Mm-hmm.
I need a partner to help them through the process. And so that's what we're doing. We're creating a choice navigators where we're partnering with other organizations that are experts in their area. And we help them through navigating the whole process of getting them in touch with who they need to reach in order to get to the next
Yes.
step.
That seems to be the main issue. It's like
Yeah,
it's the resources are there, but parents
yeah.
just don't know how
They
to
don't
find
know.
them.
They don't know.
Yes, they're not aware of them. And so
Yeah.
that's like, that's why the need for the expo.
Yeah.
So, and
Yes. That makes so
just
so excited. Because,
yeah.
Montgomery has been the area that I have spent the majority of my time the last 6 or 7 months. And the parents
Mhm.
are still confused. And so I'm
Um,
hopeful that this expo will help bring some more folks in because word of mouth is how a lot of people are hearing it, but they're getting misinformation and
mhm.
just helping them understand it. The Alabama Accountability Act did not go away when the Choose
Mm,
Act came. No, you cannot use Choose Act if you're in your public school and you did not transfer out of district because it's
mm.
for students that are transferring out of district. And so I'm helping them understand the
Understand
details,
that. Yes,
has,
yes.
has been where we are.
I know that's the tricky part. That's like, the so many people are in the mindset, and this is not just Alabama, this is all over, all over the nation,
Mhm,
whereas they think that they have to stay in that public school. Like
mhm,
whatever school district they're in, they don't think there's an option unless they pay for private, of course.
mhm,
But generally, they feel like, but many states have adopted different programs similar to
mhm,
this, where you are able to choose what works for you and go
mhm,
outside of the district, go outside of your zone. But
mhm.
like you said, the awareness has to be there.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like,
Look.
okay, what can we do? What can we do? Host expos, of course. We have National
Uh-huh.
School Choice Week, which is really a big deal, and
Yes.
host thousands of conferences and fairs and
Yes.
awareness programs during that school week. We just got to keep talking. That's why I love having this platform and being able to talk to the different organizations, different individuals that are mission to ensure that our parents are supported.
Mhm,
Because
mhm.
for the longest, I tell you, Tanya, I ain't talk to adults. Okay, adults are interesting. Okay, they be set in their ways. They don't want to hear nothing. They like, girl, I know that already. No, no, no. And I was dealing with kids for over 15 years in this
Uh-huh.
public school system, and those my homies. Those my
Uh-huh.
homies. Now these adults different because they look their head. They be
Uh-huh.
talking about them kids' head be too hard. No, adults' heads are hard.
Hard.
Okay. Yes, and they just get so stuck, or just there's a lot of stressors as adults
Mhm,
that kind of cloud what's actually really important.
mhm,
Not saying
Your kid has music in them. They just need the right tools to let it out. Homeschool Beats Academy teaches kids ages 7 to 18 how to make real beats at home on their schedule, in their own style. No experience needed. Grab the complete First Beat Kit free at homebeatsacademy.com. That's homeschoolbeatsacademy.com.
that, paying bills and having them
mhm,
shelter and all that good
mhm.
stuff's not important, but our kids, like they will always be our greatest investment. They will always
Exactly.
be our greatest investment. So it's just bringing them back, bringing our parents back to understand that, like, girl, you matter, man, sir, you matter, okay? Like, y'all matter, and these are yours. They came through you for a reason. So let's lead their educational path. Let's
Mhm,
find the resources you need. Let's get you what you need because it's there and it's available. So,
mhm. Yeah.
thank you. Yes,
So,
thank you, Tanya. I know, I know. Look, let me tell you, because we didn't choose Montgomery at first. At first, we chose Tuskegee,
uh-huh.
but there was pushback
Uh-huh.
apparently from some local. I don't know. I guess I call them advisors or investors rather
Mhm,
that didn't want us to host in Tuskegee. And
mhm,
so the parent liaison that I was working with, I just told her, okay, we'll move it. 'Cause
mhm.
I'm I'm one of those, don't tell me what I can't do because I'm gonna do it. But I talked to, some respected individuals in my groups, and I love Christina Garrett. She's in Montgomery, Alabama. She is the founder. I can't think of her organization. Forgive me, Christina. But she does a momathon or a mom retreat every
Uh-huh.
year in Alabama. But I talked to her and she's just like, girl, pick your battles. Like, pick your battles and understand this isn't for you to carry. So we
Mhm.
just moved it. And, I know Montgomery's only about 25-30 minutes from Tuskegee. So we
Mhm.
do have faith that those will reach those two. I feel like I should make the expo free. It's affordable, but
Mhm.
like some areas I just be feeling like, okay, I want everyone to be like, I want to reach everyone. I don't want it to be a thing where it's like, oh well, this still is me having to make a choice to pay for
Mhm.
this or do this.
Mhm.
So I'm a debate on that one. But
We did.
Mhm.
We did something similar with our initial application. We were trying to determine, because to operate is very expensive for the softwares and the staff and the benefits and everything. So we were looking at charging a minimal fee for the application, like $5 or $10. And it was not happening. And so we had to go back to, okay, everybody just apply. Just apply.
Yes,
There
yes,
is no
exactly.
fee.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like that's why I wanted to be able to reach everyone, like
Yeah.
all demographics. And the fee is minimal. It's $16 for a family, it's $7 for an individual, and I have a 40% off coupon code that you can use. So it's
Yeah.
really, it's really
Uh-huh.
affordable, but I get it. I get it. I get it. And I'm
Mhm.
okay with it. And like you said, it definitely costs us to travel there, it costs us to, buy the refreshments and all the little supplies that we give away and things of that nature. But it's still worth it at the end of the day because I tell people if only two families show up, it's still two families that know something different, were able to find the resources they needed, it's a mission. Like it's a
Yeah.
mission.
It is. It is. I was at an event last week on a Tuesday night, and it was at six o'clock or 6:30. I can't remember, but we were expecting this huge group of people. I'd say huge, 25, 30 people. A person showed up. But that one person really needed help, and she contacted me this
Exactly.
morning to say, "Hey, I've been approved. I've got everything in. I'm good. The schools has been notified. Thank you so much for your help." So I helped one person, and that's okay. I
Yes,
might have
ma'am.
had 30 and not helped anybody, so
Indeed.
so
Indeed. I know. That's how our first year of the expos were. It was like two, three people, but they were so grateful. Or the first couple expos we hosted, there were tears. Parents were crying. Like, thank you so much for bringing us here. Thank you so much for providing this. And that's so I was like, oh, I don't care who shows up, honey. It could be one, it could be two. I just know that the gratitude is there. I know that the need is there. And like you said, that one person will find what they need. And hey, that's one more in the direction that needs to be. So, you know. But how do we get parents more involved? What do we do? Like, what like I don't want to fearmonger people. Like that's never been
Mhm.
a thing. But like the school to prison pipeline is real. It's
Mhm.
not a theory.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's functioning. Our prisons are flooded with individuals
Mhm.
that have graduated from the public school system or not graduated
Mhm.
from the public school system. I just want to know, like, what else would it take for parents to understand that their importance of their role? Because it was
Mhm.
there. Like, it's not like, this, it's not like
Yeah.
homeschooling is new. It's not like parents teaching their kids is new. None of that is new. Like, these are not new concepts. So, it's just like, what do we do to reprogram or deprogram rather them in understanding like, no, you matter, love. Like you
Mhm.
matter all the way through, like K through 12, you matter. And your voice is needed, your advocacy is needed for your child.
Yeah, I think that for some it's they're working so hard trying to make the expenses
Ends
in the
meet,
household
yep.
the ends meet and don't have the time to put in the research to figure out that there's an option there. So educating them not just within the environments we have within the homeschool or the private school,
Yeah.
going to the public schools and public schools not feeling like we're trying to take over. We're trying to make things better, because it's not about the entity, it's not about schools or anything else other than the student. And so when
Yes.
we start focusing on the student, then our choices that we make are different.
Yes.
They're just different. And so that's one thing. And as you were talking about it, I was like, oh my goodness, when we first started the AAA, the Alabama Accountability Act, parents is a tax credit scholarship. Parents said,
Mm.
oh no, that's going to be deducted from my refund at the end of the year when I file taxes. And we're like, no, it has nothing to do with your taxes. This is money that the state has set aside saying that this can go to you and you can use it because they want to help the situation. And this is an option. And still people are, even with the Choose Act, how will this affect my tax return at the end of the year? Well, I
Mm.
have to pay this back. So so much misinformation is out there that if we could find a way, and that's why I've done a lot of podcasts lately and
Oh, nice.
been located, been in different presentation situations so that we can clear up some of this misconception that parents have about these programs and what is available to them. And then um, also because some are so their schools are great. Like the school I attended, their schools are great, but their child still needs additional assistance outside of school that they can't afford.
Yes.
I talked to a
Yes.
parent last night and she's like, I appreciate the Choose Act, but my school is okay. It's just that I've been sending my son to tutoring for this organization and I can't afford to pay it anymore. And I don't need to change the school. I just need to supplement what they're doing in the public
Mm.
school. So opening our eyes to what the dynamics could look like for our students outside of the restrictions that we have right now. I think
Yes.
and I don't know if I really answered your question or not, but
No, no. I mean, no. It was like, one of those rhetorical. Like, I don't expect you
yeah.
to have it all figured out, Tanya. I don't think. Like, but it's just like, okay, because it's food for thought. Like,
Yeah.
it gets parents to thinking also and understanding. Like, no, these are conversations we need to have more of because, like you said, schools need to understand it's got to be a collaborative effort. Like it's not a one side thing. It's not I send my child there and hope for the best or it's just all on you. No, talk.
Yeah.
Let's work
Let's
together.
figure this thing
This
out.
is a partnership because
Hmm.
I feel like that's the best way for it to work. My time in the classroom, lack of parent involvement was something I always talked about. Like
Hmm.
I wanted parents there, like, yo, where y'all at? Like, when I was teaching middle school, open house was empty. And I'm just like, wait a minute, these are
Hmm.
still babies. Like, come on now. High school, when I got to the high school level, I kind of expected that. But middle school, I still feel like it should be hands-on. Then my daughter went to kindergarten and first grade, her open houses and they were just as empty and I'm just like, yo,
Hmm.
what is going
Hmm.
on? And that is like when you asked initially early on, how did all this come about? It's because of the lack of parent involvement that I saw while I was in the school system, and it was just like, no, we can't, I need the parents, like I need y'all back. Like I need to remind
Hmm.
y'all need, no, you gotta be here.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, so it's a collaborative. I was like, what if schools did like block parties at the beginning of the school year, like community block parties? Because schools are community structures. They're in the
Hmm.
community. So it's like you said about your school being so good because those are teachers that came from that community. Those are
Hmm.
teachers that are a part of that community. So they have an investment already. They want their area to be good. They want their kids to be good. So it's like, how can we get schools to buy into that model, to buy into you are a community structure, you are a community like pillar, you're a pillar in the community. How can we get the community to feel more comfortable with the school? Because a lot of parents have trauma with their schools, and that's why they've
Hmm.
stepped outside of their children's education because
Hmm.
of their time in the classroom and
Hmm.
how that looked for
Right.
them. So, girl, I be thinking about all this stuff. Like this is a lot
That
to my
sounds
brain.
that sounds great. To have a community block party, and actually have it's kind of like your expo. It would be
Hmm.
kind of like that, have some options available for families that, and but not feel like we're trying to take you out of your good environment if it's a good environment for you. We're
Hmm.
just saying we want you to know that you do have choices. You know.
Yes,
In
that is the
Alabama, it's
thing.
constantly changing. In 2027, with the federal tax credit program, that's going to open up even more options for Alabama
Hmm.
families. Our SGO will be working to implement that program for Alabama parents. So now we're adding on another level, and then the Choose Act goes universal. And, so there's a lot of information that needs to be dispersed correctly.
Yes. Yes,
Um,
correctly. Yes. And
yeah.
this wild Tanya, I didn't know until probably like a couple conversations in last year that school choice was even a political thing. Like it was like a once, it goes on one side or the other. And I'm like,
Yes,
choice? Like
especially
choice in the land of the free? That's
especially
political.
for Alabamians. Yes, and that's where the we have the hiccup with the school systems and trying to get participation. When the Choose Act was initially implemented, um, we had a couple of public school systems that were specialty schools, math and science school, and
Mm,
that type of thing that were a part of it. But because it was a public school, didn't charge fees, it didn't qualify to for parents to apply for it. So just recently, I looked on the list of participating schools and I found 10 public school districts. That's a major improvement. Um,
right.
and so I'm excited. I haven't talked to anyone, but I do want to talk to them and find out what made you change your mind.
Yes.
Took you to the other side,
Yes.
essentially, because
Yes.
now you're helping parents. Now you're able to help students do better, and it's not so separated and non-inclusive.
Basically, yes, yes. Yeah. Like you said, it should always go back to the student. Like
Always go back.
the kids should definitely be the focus and what's best for them.
Mhm.
Because it becomes an environmental issue at that point. Like it's like, do you not want society to go up? Like, do you not do you not want like things to be better? Like
Uh-huh.
you could, and that essentially comes with making sure the people that are in the society are better and they are reaching their best selves, their highest selves. They're like, fulfilling their passions, being understanding of their identity, knowing who they are, all of that good stuff. And that comes with parent involvement.
Mhm. Exactly.
Yes, ma'am. So how important is the choose and all the acts? Because y'all got a couple acts now.
Uh-huh.
So how important is this for Alabama and where do you see it going? Because you're already talking about 2027. So
Yeah.
things are still like progressing. Because I see the education going great. Like as far
Yeah.
as like like where we're going.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
my vision's a bit different
Yeah.
than others, and I'm excited about it. How do you see it? How do you
So,
see, especially for Alabama?
So with the Alabama Accountability Act, we have to raise the tax credit first. And so right now it's set at $40 million and $10 million of it was still left on the table that we could not get donors to contribute to SGOs so that we can offer scholarships. So that's disheartening because that means that no new students for our organization could be added because once in, always in. And so that kind of always in unless you don't meet the income guidelines for a AAA. But um, with the Choose Act, they had 37,000 applications come in that first year. That was last year, January last year.
Wow.
37,000 applications between January and April. I
How
think
do
it was
y'all
like April.
process all of that?
Well, see, it's the Department of Revenue, and they partnered with
Okay.
Class Wallet and Fax. Fax does college applications and everything else, so they had
Okay.
the bandwidth to take on that one. And so, with the 37,000 applications, about 23,000 of them were actually awarded, which was over the $100 million that they initially set aside for this
Mm,
program. They went back and added to it, saying, okay, we realized that it's going to be possibly more, so let's add to it. And I think it got up to $150 million that was going to be available. And even this next year, the governor has gone in and added an additional $100 million to the budget. So they could possibly go up to 250 million dollars in ESA, Education Savings Account funds. Um, and so now we're going through the renewal process for last year's, and it's already over 37,000, including the renewals. And I think about 19,000 of those are renewals, but the rest are new parents coming to apply. And so I see this third year when it's universal. I don't know how many.
many.
Yeah, but I know that it's going to be restricted by what the schools that they're choosing to go to, what they can do.
Mhm.
If they can't
Okay.
house students, then they're not going to allow students to come in, you know? And so
Yeah.
it's going to have some restrictions naturally. But
Yeah.
the fact that this is telling us that Alabama parents are hearing this and they want choice. You know, they want to be able to
Yes.
choose and they could not afford it, but now you're making it affordable for them. They want it. And
Yes.
so yeah, I'm excited for Alabama because I'm telling you, it's been 20 years in the making since I did the
Mm.
voucher program. So it's exciting to see Alabama finally get on board with giving our parents some options. Um, and though it is completely separated between one
Mm.
side and the other politically, it has to be not about the politics, but about the children.
Yes, ma'am. Where the money coming from? That's what people want to know. Like how people are concerned about, okay, is this gonna mess up my tax return?
No.
Where are the funds coming from
So
to
the
fund these programs?
Right. The Alabama Accountability Act is a refundable tax credit. So it's
Mm.
it's money that's in tax dollars that is set aside for these programs. Now, if the
Okay.
credits aren't accepted or the credits aren't utilized, then the money stays in the fund. It doesn't go anywhere.
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
but it does not roll over from year to year. It starts every year with $40 million in January. And if you don't reserve it by the end of the year, then those funds stay where they were. But what happens with the Alabama Accountability Act is that the donor gets to choose how they want to use their tax liability. So if I have $1,500 in tax liability for the year, I can donate that $1,500 to an SGO and still get credit from the state as if I paid it to the state. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's a refundable tax credit. For the Choose Act, it is also tax dollars that are going into that. But it's a different one because you don't have to raise the funding. The funding is automatically there. And so
Okay.
there's no stipulation for donors. You don't donate to this program, but you do for the AAA. So there are two separate programs. One's a line item, the other one is a tax credit scholarship.
Okay, okay. Because people, where my money going? Where my tax dollars going? Like, out there.
This is one time you can decide where your tax dollars are going. They can go to give scholarships to students to go to a different school that works better for them. Yeah.
Right. Yes, I'm about to say because all the tax dollars that y'all don't know what's going on with y'all worried about the ones that's educating kids is so wild to me. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's different. But okay, okay, Miss Tanya. I'm looking forward to having you in Alabama. Um,
Yes.
and educating our parents. I am probably gonna make the expo free because I do want everybody to go. Like, look, look, you kind of convinced me with the little $5 thing. I was like, well, if $5 is the issue, I'm gonna go ahead and yes.
Yeah.
But before I let you go, two things. One, with all that you're doing and educating parents and following the money and providing the money and all that good stuff, how do you self-care? How do you take care of you?
I love to fish. I love to fish.
Really?
And I'm from Laura, Alabama, which is near the Gulf. And so I love Gulf fishing. And
Mm.
and I also, most people are surprised when they hear this, but I ride a motorcycle. And yes, I
What
ride my
kind? What you got, girl?
I've got a Honda F6B. It's the one like the policeman ride with the no luggage on it, the Honda
Mm-hmm.
bike. But yeah, it so I
Oh,
love it. It's a lot, it's like a gold wing. It's a gold wing, but it's without the luggage.
that is so dope. Because yes, no, I would definitely. That is
Nobody.
surprising. It's surprising. I had
Yeah.
a Ninja, a Kawasaki Ninja when I was what,
Uh-huh.
like 21, like
Uh-huh.
2021. I don't have any more. But I told my girls when they get older, if they want to ride together, I'll get another one for them
Yeah.
because it is like that is a release. Like people don't understand how freeing it is to ride on a
Yeah, you
motorcycle.
see everything. I can't believe how much, I mean, you see everything.
You
Um,
feel it, see
Yeah,
it.
you feel it too, the rocks, all of that. My daughter rides, and so
Nice.
she and my husband and I ride together.
Yes, my mom ride. She was a rider too. So
Uh-huh.
yes. Oh,
Yeah,
that is so awesome.
yeah,
And fishing, you be out there taking out because I like fishing too, but I don't like to like I if I catch anything, I'm not taking it off.
yeah.
I'm taking
I
it.
when I was in college, I was in Mobile, and my husband's grandmother took me fishing with her, and that's when I started. And we were
Um,
down on the Gulf on the pier, and I caught a fish, and I was like, oh, somebody better get it, you know. And she's like, baby, don't you let that fish jump off that pier. And so I put my foot on it. And she's like,
mm,
no, you don't put your foot on it. So then I grabbed a towel and initially I started using towels to hold
okay.
them and get the hook out because nobody was helping me. But now it doesn't matter. I'm not that way,
You
but
got it now. Yeah. Mm-mm. Yeah, I'm still there. Look, I'm not that grown yet.
yeah.
Yes. And Tanya, if our parents didn't hear or our listeners didn't hear anything else, what's three things you would like to leave them with? Like, hey, hear this. If you didn't hear anything else in this conversation, take these three things with you.
Okay. Alabama and the way we do education is changing. You got to learn. You got to know what's available. Um, Second thing is Alabama Opportunity Scholarship Fund is not just an SGO. We're advocates for parents and students, and we want to make sure that you're knowledgeable about what's going on. So when you hear Alabama Opportunity Scholarship Fund, don't put us in a box. Um, we're here for you. And the third thing is next year is going to be an enormous year. Lots of change.
To change.
Go ahead and prepare. Be ready.
Yes, I love it. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh. Okay, I was whew, made me nervous for a minute. I thought I wasn't recording this whole time. But no, parents, understand that we have choices, okay? Never let anyone tell you that you have to do something one way. If what where your child is not working for you, this goes for everyone, not just Alabama residents, but everyone. If it's not working, honey, find what works for your child. They are worth that effort. So find what works for them, and we have the choices. The choices are available, and they even giving you money now, y'all. So,
Okay.
so yes, tap into it. Learn. The more you know, the more you grow. And understand that the organizations are here to help you. Reach out, find the resources. Tanya's descriptions will be available in the description, and you reach out to me through email. I will put you in connection with whatever you are looking for. So don't think that this is something you have to do alone. Understand that the support is there, and you know what I say: homeschool your kids.